and connecting everybody. And I'm so excited that we have Hugh Ballou here. Hugh Ballou is a sought-after transformational leader who goes into organizations and helps them navigate change, increase their profits, create more efficiency through meetings, and really develop that level of leadership. He's been featured. It's Forbes magazine. Hugh, is that correct?
It is. It is. Is there any option of me doing my first and then you doing networking so I got a packed day, so it would be a pleasure to me. What's the length of my, you need me? What's my time slot?
Your time slot is 20 to 25 minutes, and then we usually open it up for Q&A.
Okay. So if there's any way you could flip it, okay, here it is. Okay.
Yeah, I know the attention span and energy is a little different when we start with the speaker as opposed to the networking. All right, Carolina, it looks like we're ready. Nancy, we're ready. And
okay, well, welcome everybody to another edition of our Brevard Business Professionals on Zoom. Normally we have these live, and our host has been Riverview Senior Resort Living, but during this time we've kept them up and have continued to bring them to you virtually. And we certainly appreciate Shannon Gronich, our fabulous chairwoman for this group, to bring us great speakers and continue to allow us to network effectively, even when we're not in the same room with each other. A few things coming up, actually. We have our Disaster Recovery Week. It's July 20th to 24th. If you are interested in participating in that, please let me know. Every day will be a different topic. Last year, we were at Eastern Florida State College for a half day, and as you know, that's really too long to be on Zoom. So what we decided to do was break it into a week. They'll start at 10 o'clock. Every session will be a different amount of time. And we'll start with Marty and from the SBDC talking about a disaster recovery planning, a checklist that you should look at for your business. We're looking at talking about insurance and what kind of insurance you should have. And this isn't just hurricane disaster recovery. I think, unfortunately, most people, because we live in Florida, think of hurricanes, but as you were in the middle of a pandemic, this is a disaster that, you know, I think a lot of people weren't prepared for. So we'll be having these conversations, mitigation. So let's say you have a water main break. What you should do to mitigate the damage and ensure that you get all that you need with your insurance claim. We're talking about cyber, and not just cybersecurity, but really backing up your computer, making sure that you're always have that up to date. I think that was one of the important things in this pivot. If you started going from working at the office to your home, your security is definitely different in your home environment than probably it is at work. So knowing what you need to have to work in the virtual environment. So it's going to be a very interesting week, and each day we'll have, like I said, a different speaker. We have our presenting sponsor already, so we're excited about that. And we have our speaker sponsors and then just our regular ones. And just for people to know, we had 15 chamber chats during, I think, from March 17th till about May. We had a reach of almost 15,000, and that was how many views. The reach was about 36,000. So if you think about it, last year we had 99 people, about 99 at the expo, 36,000 reach. I mean, it's pretty incredible. So I think you're able to reach a wider audience sometimes through Zoom. And I know sometimes you think that the interest isn't there, but think about how many meetings we've been in and we kind of Zoom out, you know, watching things. So, but it goes on forever. So I think that's what's kind of unique about this Disaster Recovery Week. We are also looking at having a wellness walk. I think that a number of us, you know, we got out and then now we seem to be kind of having to move back again. So we wanted to have just a casual get together, probably at Turkey Creek is what we're looking at. we'll choose the time. I think we're looking at probably 5 to 6. It's about 45 minutes to do the loops through there. They have a beautiful boardwalk. It's under trees, so we know it's 90 degrees out, but it is shaded. We'll have water at the end, and we're looking at VITAS to provide their pedometers. They were going to do that when we were having the Lifestyle Health and Wellness Expo. So we're looking at ways to bring that to everybody as well in a different format. So we'll get the details out there about that. I think we're looking at next Wednesday on the 8th for our wellness walk, but we'll get that on our Facebook page. And like I said, it'll just be a meetup casual. You'll be able to network as you're walking. And then when we have our little breaks, you can switch and then walk with somebody else and keep our social distance. So we're trying to keep you healthy, sane, and get outdoors while we're networking. So that's all I have. I'm thrilled that you were able to join us here this morning, and I will now turn it over to the fabulous Shannon Gronich, who will continue on with the program. So thank you all.
Awesome. Thank you, Nancy. So I have this virtual round of applause for Nancy. She rocks. She had some of the best events, and thank you, Nancy, for your vision to keep this going. And I love your innovation to be able to showcase businesses and your commitment to do that. It's just really amazing how you can see innovation, participate in innovation, and your commitment to everybody. I know I feel it. I know everybody here can feel your desire to keep things moving. So Hugh, I sent you something in the chat. Are you okay with that? And I know we had a lot of people.
I just had to unmute, sorry, yes.
Okay, great. So right now we are going to break into our high performance networking experience. This is really a great opportunity for you to collaborate. And one of the things what I love about the Chamber, again, is the commitment to help everybody make those connections. And now is the time. So in a moment, we're going to break you into groups of 3. And so in the groups of 3, once you get into the room, an important thing is to please wait in the room. It may take a minute because sometimes people have their camera off or they're doing something else and they're not fully present. We do invite you to make sure you have your camera on, because that's really where the connections are made as we're doing the networking. And but if you're in there for a moment, just stay in the room, because once you get out of the room, I can't put you back in, and then you're out of the process. When you're there, take about 30 seconds to pick a timekeeper. So we need somebody to go ahead and have their phone. We're going to do time for about 60 seconds of you sharing who you are and what you're looking for next. This is a time for you to make that request for, whether it be a certain type of client. Also, it could be maybe you're offering a special event or a promotion. This is a time for you to be spotlighted and showcased. And I invite you to be really quick, clear, and concise. This is one of the things that can help be more effective and more powerful with your request. Don't ask for a big laundry list of things. It's important to talk in the form of benefits for the person listening to you, and the benefits are benefits for a possible customer or benefits for whoever you might be looking to attract. So then we're going to take a quick, once the 60 seconds is up, we'll allow another 60 seconds to be able to give feedback, and then you've got to move on. So literally it's 2 minutes per person. And what's important for the timekeeper is that you do, everybody's got to agree to stop on time. So if you can raise your hand to agree to stop talking when the timer goes off. I just want to make sure I have everybody's participation, because one of the things that's important is that last person gets to go. And if everybody keeps talking, then that last person gets cut short. And so it's really important that we, when that time's up, timekeeper, you're not being rude, you're taking care of the community to make sure that we keep going. Also, this is a time to do lead exchange, right? Put it in the chat room saying, hey, this is what I'm looking for. Keep that connection going, because really this is a little bit like speed networking, which I know Nancy has one of those events coming up where you're just planting the seed, getting the information, and then the key is in the follow-up. So be really quick, clear, and concise on what it is that you're looking for. So again, when you first get in the room, assign a timekeeper. Somebody just say, I'll be timekeeper. Then do a 60-second timer. And that's where they're sharing who they are, what they are. And when it's time to stop, go ahead and stop. And then there'll be a next 60 seconds of feedback, or ideally lead exchange. That's really what we're here to do. Would everybody love it if they get a new contact or a lead? And it doesn't mean that this may be a perfect lead. It's just, you know, hey, I'm going to connect you with Hugh Ballou. I'm not sure if it's a good connection, but let me connect you. You write down the name Hugh Ballou, write down who you're going to connect with, and then after the mastermind, then we'll come back in, or after the networking. Then what happens is when the time is up, you're going to see a timer, and it'll literally pull you back into this space. So this is why it's important to make sure everybody gets time and you in. Then we come back all together, and we're going to do the exchange a couple of times, so you'll get to meet a different group of people. So there may be a couple of you where there's 4 in your group, because again, sometimes people are here and they're not fully present. And I invite you, if you're here, to please try to participate. This is where the deals get done. And so if there's 4 people, then it's going to need to be a little bit shorter, that feedback piece. We want everybody to have the minute to share, but that feedback or lead piece, you might want to do it in the chat room, but it'll be a little bit shorter so that there's enough people there. Any questions before I get started? Go ahead and raise your hand if you have a question. All right, is everybody ready to go? All right, so Kathy, I have Cindy and Kathy. I want to make sure that each of you turn on your camera when you're doing this, so that people can engage with you. Right now, again, stay in the room because there may be a little bit an extra person that's coming in. All right, so are you ready? Here we go. Oh, and you can raise your hand if you need me to come in your room. So just raise your hand and I can see and I can come in. Brevard Business Professionals, and this is brought to you by the Greater Palm Bay Chamber of Commerce with our fearless leader, Nancy Peltonen. And real quick, before we introduce our speaker, anybody that wants to connect with me or any of the things that we're doing, you can go to meetshannon.com and connect there. So thank you, Nancy, so much for this amazing event. And so I have the opportunity to introduce Hugh Ballou. He's a transformational leadership strategist and a corporate culture architect, working with visionary CEOs, pastors, nonprofit leaders, and many more, and their team to develop purpose-driven, high-performance collaboration cultures that significantly increases productivity, profits, job satisfaction, through dramatically decreasing confusion, conflict, and under-functioning. With 40 years as a music conductor, one of the things I love about Hugh when he comes to our events is when he speaks, he dresses up in his music conductor and he gets the whole audience, conducting music together. Is really beautiful. He uses his leadership skills, utilizing daily by the conductor, and teaching relevant leadership skills and showing leaders in business, churches, nonprofits, and organizations as a skilled orchestra responds to a musical director. So with that, if we can give Hugh a big round of applause. Thank you so much, Hugh.
Hey there. Hey there. I've known Shannon since 2006. First time I saw her, she was wearing a Santa hat. And so Shannon, would you give me in the chat a 10 to go and a 5 to go, please? So I'm going to talk about, I'm going to nuance this a little bit. If you want to know more about this particular topic, I will have, I got to get this thing running in it. Excuse me, I've been fine until right this minute. And now I've got, so this is what a conductor thinks about leadership. So this isn't creating the new normal. This is creating a radical normal. We've got to do radical things. And people say, what does a conductor know about leadership? Well, let me tell you, conductor knows about leadership. I just finished a term as the president of Lynchburg Symphony and guest conductor. So I was a conductor, I am a conductor, and I conduct powerful meetings, I orchestrate success, and I help people compose really good guidelines. So conductor focuses on outcomes. So there's 5 elements. This is an hour training, but I'm going to give you some highlights. for more to it, I'm going to give you a link and you can have more about each of these topics. We have to define our life first, create your strategy. Leaders live in the future, where we want to be. Equip yourself. We forget about that. People think they're a leader because they read a book. Build your team, surround yourself with capable people, and we must, even in a nonprofit, it's a business, we must have positive cash flow. We don't call it profit, but it's leftover money we use to invest. So don't try to copy the notes, just write down ideas that are triggered. Starts with your vision. You get on an elevator downtown and you push 4, somebody gets in and pushes 8 and they say, "Oh, Hugh, what are you doing?" You need to tell them, I impact people's lives by empowering leaders to grow their organizations and to empower their teams. So, and they get off on 4, they're going to 8, they get off on 4 and say, how do you do that? That's your mission. So you must be able to articulate your vision very clearly. So here we go. Define your life. There's all kinds of obstacles. In Napoleon Hill interviewed 500 of the most successful people introduced by Andrew Carnegie. Every one of them had definite purpose. Every one of them had a positive mental attitude. As a coach, I'm very prejudiced that I think everybody needs a coach. When you look at the most successful people, they have a coach because we don't see our blind spots. So we must see success. Napoleon Hill said, any idea that's held in the mind and emphasized that's either feared or revered will begin at once to manifest itself into the most appropriate and convenient physical form available. That was Carnegie to Napoleon Hill. So we give energy to what we think about. Think about success, build your plan. That'll help you break through your blocks. Obstacles are what you see when you take your mind off your goal. So there's lots of things that are binding us, and there's a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety in the culture. So we need to be ourselves. We know how to stay healthy. We've got all this instructions: wear a mask, wash your hands. So we want to move our passion into profit. So envision success. I see so many nonprofit leaders that say, we can't make money, we're a nonprofit. The word nonprofit is a lie. IRS calls it a tax-exempt corporation. You start a non-stock C corporation, it's non-taxed. Instead of being a for-profit organization, it's a for-purpose organization. We receive money because we provide value in any situation: education, healthcare, entrepreneurialism, nonprofit, church. People donate because they support your cause. People belong to a chamber because they get value. So where do we go? We see the future. We're visionaries. We think about the future. It's important to create the roadmap. I can't tell you how many people have an idea where they want to be, but they've not created the sequence to get there. The conductor steps on the podium, they open this piece of music, it's the score. Everything that happens is written down. Everybody in the orchestra has their part. That's an action plan. So as you step forward in front of the group that you lead, a committee, a project team, a staff, you must have the executable plan. That's an engagement. So SMART goals, specific. Where are we going to be? How do we measure? We want more business. No. How much more business? How many more customers? And here's one that's different. Most people use a little different letter: accountable. If you share your goal, share your vision, you now have a partner. So instead of achievable, realistic and achievable can both be covered under the R. But what really makes it work is the A, accountable. We want to share it. And a specific time. So if it's a specific arrival point at a specific moment in history, that's how you're going to measure success. You see 3 lines there. Here's the other thing we need to rethink. People want to have all these goals. Well, if you write down as many goals as you have on cards, put them on your dining room table and cluster them by topic. And I'm willing to bet there's 3 topics. These are all about revenue. These are all about organization, our building, our staff, how do we pull it off? And these are all about what we do, our products and services. So then you put them in order, then you rewrite the goal at the top, and you've got your goals and your steps to arrive at your goals. Life is hard. Running an organization is hard. we don't need to make it harder. We need to make it easier, more attainable. So then equipping yourself, we call it leadership. Leaders get things done. Leaders figure out how things get done. Leaders influence others. Primarily, we influence. So always, let me say it again, always work on success. You want to transform an idea into a reality, work on your ability. You want to transform an organization, work on your ability. Transform self first. You build your skills, you build your skills, you build your confidence. So if you look up or Google leadership, you'll get millions. So we get things done, but primarily we influence others. And I got this little stick. It's a baton. A conductor has a baton. And people think a conductor is a dictator. Well, no. You got union musicians sitting there daring you, and you wave a little stick. You cannot make them do anything. What you can do is influence them to perform at a higher level. And if we're anxious, a lot of anxiety now. If we're frantic, the culture is going to be frantic. We're anxious. It's contagious. If we're calm, everybody's going to be calm. And we shy away from conflict. We get jazzed by it. We get bothered by it. It accelerates. Approach conflict calmly, directly, and factually. So we've been taught a lot of things. A lot of those don't work. We're in a leadership crisis, and people are getting anxious, and we're actually setting up some of the problems. So it's a shift in paradigm. And so we need a team around us to help us be our best self. People that are not yes people. They're going to tell us about ourselves. And we need a coach. But build your team. So maybe you're replacing people and building a team. Maybe you're starting a new team. So what does the team look like? Find the very best people. There's the old saying, if you are the best person on your team, it's time to get a new team. So choose people better than you are. Build a culture that's leaders on teams. A transformational leader equips and empowers other people on teams. So we don't do it all. We don't do it all. And the burnout rate right now is huge. It's huge. And so that's because we don't know how to delegate. So build a culture, build capability, capable leaders, assign them jobs and allow them to do those jobs. So your team is like an orchestra. Look at all those different instruments. They all sound different. There's different disciplines and different personalities that go with each one. So you want to amass a variety of people. Diversity is good, but we want to be inclusive. Diversity is just a buzzword. Inclusiveness is how we actually incorporate people that look different and people that are different generations, people that have different backgrounds, people that think differently. There you have a team that can actually make effective decisions in today's very complex culture. So we want to inspire the best thinking of the team. We want to give them where we want to go. The leader holds the vision. That's non-negotiable. We hold the vision. Here's where we're going to be. We throw it out, and then we ask the team, what is your role in helping this organization achieve that vision? So we define the results. We actually facilitate a creative conversation. If we define the results and say, do this, do this, do this, do this, that's an old paradigm of leader. That's the boss paradigm. Boss spelled backwards is double S-O-B. We don't want to be there. We want to be the facilitator of creative thinking. We want to be the person that inspires and influences others to raise the bar on their own functioning. And so we debate ideas, but we come up with something that we can get behind. It's not compromise. Compromise is lose-lose. We give up. Everybody gives up something. Consensus is win-win. Everybody contributes to the idea. Everybody owns the idea. Everybody thinks it's a good idea because we've nuanced through the debate, through the discussion of ideas. And ultimately, we respect the individual in that process instead of discounting person because they think differently. We've lost the ability in today's culture to have meaningful discourse as we have difference of opinion. That's really a creative situation where we can expand. Now we have a good vision, we have good people, And then we put them in a situation where they tie their hands. For instance, a nonprofit board, there's so many nonprofit boards that the leader reads everything, and the really capable people we've asked to be on the board are listeners. What we want to do as a leader is have everybody around the table report on their part of what they've done since the last meeting. You don't work at meetings, you work between meetings, and you report at meetings. You get approval and you move on to the next set of work. So anybody say yourself, have I ever been in a boring, unproductive meeting? Well, yeah. Have I ever led a boring, unproductive meeting? Say to yourself, never, never again. So boring meetings kill teams, bottom line. So I have whole methodology, and Shannon, I'll share a ebook with you that you can share with the group. Bill, it's conducting powerful meetings, power-packed meetings. And so the last one is develop your streams of revenue. In a nonprofit organization, there's 8 normal streams of revenue. If you have money invested, that's a 9th, that's income from that investment, and 10 if you have real estate. But there's, without that, without having capital, you can do 8 streams of revenue. If you have 1 stream of revenue in your business, you will go broke, 100%. If you have multiple streams, then one picks up when the other one drops off. Today, things change so radically, we need to cultivate multiple streams that run simultaneously. So we market ourselves, but that's pushing. So we want to have pull marketing, which means we influence people because of who we are. People call me up, and you're the conductor guy, right? That does leadership. And they might not even know my name, but I've created this branding that people recognize, that I teach leadership differently, that I empower teams, and that I foster creative thinking. And so that's a new normal for leadership. And so we want to create multiple streams of income. We want to work a plan. Remember, I said, write the plan. Many times people write a plan and they put it on a credenza, or they put it in a drawer. Write your plan, and that plan creates prosperity. And by the way, in the book Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill listed the 13 attributes of wealth. The last one was money, he said, because that's the least important. We need to have revenue. We need to have money. It's like we build a car. Now we have to put gas in it and it runs. So the money is like the gas. So create your leadership plan for yourself and for your organization. Clarify your strategy. Strategy is one step after the other. Business plan is a financial document that you give your funder or your banker. Strategy is an operational plan that your team uses to do what they're supposed to do. Build your team, continue to build your team, continue to work on building the capacity of the team. Get a coach. Everybody needs a coach. So we go from thinking we're going to succeed, believing we're going to succeed, to knowing we're going to succeed because we've created the roadmap. Very distinctive journey. If you're a nonprofit leader, I have a nonprofit community. You go to nonprofitcommunity.org and it takes you there. If you have a smartphone, send a text to this number, 64600, and put in the word LDR, leader. It's just short for leader. So if you put in LDR, I'll show you what you get. You're going to get my virtual card. And this is my virtual card. And this tells you about, you can call me, you can text me, you can email me, you can go to my website. This is for Center Vision Leadership Foundation. This is where we help leaders be better leaders. So you send a text to 64600 with the message LDR, and you'll get a text back. So this talks all about the community. And so today we have lots of resources, but every Tuesday at 2, we have what's called the Nonprofit Exchange. And today, Paper for Water is our project. And it's just an amazing project where this family folds origami paper, and they have raised $2 million for charity, folding origami paper since these girls were 5 and 7 years old. they're now in high school, getting ready to graduate. So you can do what you put your mind to do if you're clear with the vision and you're dedicated to the purpose. So start where you are, build your skills, know where you're going, and build your plan. So today, thank you. Somebody just signed on, 321-482, etc. Thank you for signing on to my card. So we're always connected. And if there's something special, I'll just send a text out. Hey, there's something going on, and you can respond. And if you don't want text, you can just say stop. So that's a quick overview of what we need to do to create a radical normal. Radical means do something to change yourself, to transform your skills and become the person you have been created to be. And I'm 73, I'm still working on that. There's no stopping. So Shannon, back to you. That's an overview of how we can build our stuff ourselves, to build our future, to build the future of our organization. And it's been hard in future running a business. Starting up a new business is always a challenge, and the risk is high. Starting a nonprofit is just as high, and the leadership there is more difficult than anywhere else. And so equipping, but it's not impossible. And when you achieve what you want to achieve, it's extremely rewarding, not only for you, but for the people around you. So let's open it up to a few questions about what I wanted to do today is to open your eyes to possibility, have you rethink some paradigms. And if you go to that nonprofit community, and if you got my Easy card on your phone, there's a $1 offer. You can check out the community for $1, and you immediately get my program, The 5 Pillars, which is more on this. It's a mini course on prosperity and leadership. You get that. It's a $100 program. You get it for free, and you get some other things for free when you join the community. Even if you're not a nonprofit leader, it's leadership. And so there's tons of resources in the community. And we're trying to build our community with thoughtful people who want to grow their skills. So love to have conversations, and we offer live events during the week, every single week. And we've been doing this, publish a magazine, and I have online interviews with great leaders. I learn when I hear other people talk about what they've done to achieve their goals. And in 6 years, I've interviewed amazing people like Shannon Gronich and how they've brought some goodness to the world. So what questions do you have about building teams, about why we can't sell our products, or why nonprofits don't get funded, or board activation? That's one real problem. As of today, I'll have 20,000 visits to our website. And the number one terms that people use, search terms, I look at the analytics, have to do with leadership, have to do with burnout, have to do with team performance. Those are all the top terms that people are searching for. And that's what people are struggling with most. So questions?
Yeah, so Hugh, I have a question in the chat room, but I just want to plug his magazine and his interviews. Like, he's had Michelle Obama, he's had Jack Canfield, he's had huge names in his magazine. You're sitting here in a small group, and I just want to let you know how significant it is that Hugh's here and to be able to connect with him. So thank you, Hugh. So what is your advice for leading millennials? That's a great question, Joe.
You know what? I'm looking to show you something. In years of publishing the magazine, we did have one dedicated issue that was strictly about millennials. So if you go to nonprofit community, well, let me take you there. This magazine was all about millennials. That's Frances Hasselbein. She ran the Girl Scouts. She's an expert. She's 100. She's an expert on millennials. But if you go to the community, nonprofitcommunity.org, you'll see this tab that says free resources. The Nonprofit Exchange is our interviews every week. The magazine is there, and you can click on any one of the magazines here. You can click on the magazine, like that one's about millennials. In my article here was that boomers and millennials have the same values. We have the same objectives. We just need to learn to talk to each other. So you just look through, there's the table of contents, and you look through and you find an article there and you read it, and you can access it, right online. You don't have to wait to get it yourself. So millennials are people. We have the same values. We approach life very differently. So it's about building a relationship with anybody. And, you know, God gave us 2 eyes and 2 ears, 1 mouth. So we observe and we listen and we get to know the other person. And so leadership and communication and funding are all based in creating the relationship.
Beautiful. We have another question. Do you have any tips for leading a team when the director position is vacant for a time? Yeah, with all of the furloughing and everything that's happening, I'm sure there's a lot of different positions. So, Hugh, that's Deborah.
I served mega churches for 40 years, little churches, 130 members to 12,000 members. And I was a music director. I was not the pastor. I was not in charge. I showed up in my church in Florida in St. Pete, 1,200 member church. I showed up at a 3-day staff retreat, which we did 3 times a year. I wasn't in charge. I was a music director. I came in with goals, very specific goals, and I shared them. And then between then and the next time I came, those goals had all been met. And people knew it because I was very transparent. That's the A of SMART, achievable. Now there's a smarter pattern, evaluate and revise. But I shared those goals and then 3 months later at our next staff retreat, everybody showed up with goals. So no matter whether you're the person in charge or not, we influence other people no matter where we are in the organization, 360. So I've influenced the people that have supervised me. So, and I got better at it as I got older. So it doesn't matter if you're in charge or not, you can still influence other people with relationship, not with power of position.
Beautiful, Hugh. Any other questions? All right, thank you, Hugh, so much. Bravo. One more time, how would somebody reach out to you if they wanted to connect?
If you want to get my card, it's texting 64600 LDR. If you want to have an appointment with me, my name is Hugh. Go to hughcalendar.com, hughcalendar.com, and plug in a 25-minute. It's free, no obligation. You have something, so tell me what you want to accomplish on the reservation, and we'll do our best to give you value in that 25 minutes. hughcalendar.com. Find a spot you like, and then go for it, and we'll talk.
Hugh, you just reminded me of when I had a private meeting with you one time at an event, and you actually saved me potentially like tens of thousands of dollars in a decision I was getting ready to make. And you kind of rocked my world. You did rock my world in my belief about an organization and boards. Like I had no idea that a functioning board is designed to function opposite of what most of us are taught. So please take them up on that offer. I was just remembering, like, oh my gosh, I remember meeting with Hugh and just taking massive notes, and record it if you get on the call with Hugh. But how that was a very valuable time spent, and you just poured your heart out, and it was really wonderful. So thank you again.
Well, people often introduce me as an expert, and I shun that title, but you know, I've come to embrace it at 73 because I've made more mistakes than everybody else. So I've learned more. So I can share that kind of stuff with people. So holler at me, hughcalendar.com. I'd love to chat with you, see how I can bring you value.
Perfect. So I wanted to say one more thing about Hugh, and then Nancy's final announcement is that Hugh also has a nonprofit community that's really remarkable. If you're a nonprofit and you're treading these waters alone, or you want to be a part of something bigger, please reach out to Hugh about his nonprofit community, because not only is it a community, but it also has tons of resources. He's been building it for probably a decade. Hugh, am I accurate?
You are, man, you've been paying attention here.
So there's a lot of nonprofits right now that I know are struggling, and community right now, in my mind, is the solution for navigating this pivot. Like, we've got to be doing this stuff together, and that's key. So Nancy said, don't forget to sign up for the monthly luncheon tomorrow with Dan Borge, CEO of Curly and Pine. He'll be our keynote presenter. Carolina, do you want to say any closing remarks?
No, only if you want to share with us something that you are doing right now, because you are the sponsor of the VVP. So maybe if you want to share with us something that you are doing.
Oh, you're so sweet. So thank you, Carolina. So right now, we have been leading this incredible town hall meeting called Love Your Neighbor. And if you go to thegreatestcommand.com, you can participate in this. This is no fee. As soon as the COVID happened, again, you've heard me and you've probably felt it here. Like I believe that community is a currency that helps navigate change and helps us accelerate things. And so with this Love Your Neighbor community, we have partnered with a family office. And if you're not familiar with a family office, Wikipedia, look it up, because it's very significant. And usually the ultra wealthy have access to that information. And so we've partnered with King's Council and Trust Family Office, and they have literally opened up their resources, and the things that they've given away for free is just incredible. And all you have to do is just show up, participate, and really love on each other. So we meet every other Tuesday. Tonight happens to be the night at 8 p.m. It's a really beautiful community. We've had people from all over the globe, some other big names participating, and the head of the family office is somebody that's considered a financial futurist, and he's actually going to be our key speaker next month. I'm so excited. Dale Hewlett Collier, he has a way of helping us build our strategic philanthropy now. So I'm really excited. If you can join us again, it's called thegreatestcommand.com, and it's focused on loving your neighbor. So thank you, Carolina, for letting me share. And if you want to follow me on Facebook or Twitter, any of that stuff, or if you want to book an appointment, you can just go to meetshannon.com. I do love connecting people and helping them build community. So thank you again.
Thank you. I just want to remember the luncheon tomorrow starts at 11:30 and goes until 1. So we will start with a virtual networking session. Then we will continue with the chamber program. And finally, we will have a speaker that Nancy already mentioned in the chat. So please register, because we are going to get a shout out today just to finish the promotion. So please don't forget to do it.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. So I look forward to seeing everybody next month. I'm going to go ahead and unmute everybody, and you can say your goodbyes.
Thank you. Thank you for everything.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Carolina, for navigating everything. You're the best.
Thank you. You are the best.
All right. See you next month, and hopefully tonight. Love your neighbor.
Very good.
Bye.
Goodbye. Thank you, Hugh.